Shalom, shalom, everybody. It is your brew here, Ban Shemayim, with another video. So today's video, it's a lot of hatred going on with this thing that just happened with Tyre Nichols. So we're gonna go into this massive hatred blob that's going on because of the Tyre Nichols thing. And today we are watching a video. Both videos are gonna actually be from a brother. What is his name? I know his name. I can't believe I can't remember this dude's name. But oh, the amazing Lucas. Lucas. So we're going into two videos from the amazing Lucas, both centering around the Tyre Nichols, and then we'll wrap it up with some scriptures. All right. So on that note, let's get it started.
Example of a group of black police officers brutalizing a white American citizen? Don't worry, I'll wait. Can you give me an example of a group of black police officers brutalizing a white American citizen? Don't worry, I'll wait. Oh my goodness. So I have to say that the reaction and the responses of Tyre Nichols' video have been abysmal. Okay, they have been detestable. And when it comes to the right, the right has earned, okay, the title of being the racist right. They have earned that, especially with this horrible, horrible tragedy that unfortunately transpired on body cam, on film. And they brought out every Sambo, every clown that you could possibly imagine. There was someone who was talking about trying to blame this on a black woman. You had people who were trying to say that, hey, do these officers...
I remember that guy. I can't think of his name. If y'all remember his name, throw it in the chat. But I remember the guy, kind of a chubbier guy who was trying to blame this on the black women, on the fatherless households. Man, people is going crazy. So let's just blame this on every other situation except what it is, that the justice system was created to place black people to keep black people in without having justice. It was created to keep us in slavery, to keep us with a criminal record, to keep us from being able to have jobs. Let's be serious. Let's be serious about it. We can't just be like, oh, it was created to stop, because the women, it was the women. That's what this guy was saying. He was saying it was the women who, because they didn't have a male around, that the households, which I can understand, some of those stats do, like, that is a stat that single fathers, children end up growing, accomplishing more and doing better in the world than single mothers. But that don't mean that you can blame the mothers for what's this particular incident. It's a lot for single mothers, especially if you got to raise a man with testosterone, because women are softer and more gentle than us. So you're not gonna get that man, that boy who turned into a man. He needs discipline. He needs a schedule. He needs to keep himself busy. Boys gotta burn all the energy out. So you can't blame black women for this thing. It's absolutely absurd. So excuse me for stuttering with my language, but it's absolutely absurd. It really is. Let's keep going.
Get reparations. You had people, I mean, I want you to understand this. What they attempted to do, because the right, the people who constantly profess about 1776, more freedom and guns and touting guns and blah, 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 right? What they very much try to do, the bootlicking right, they try to separate police, right? Police, law enforcement from blackness. That's what they attempted to do. They tried to say, oh, this what has nothing to do with law enforcement. This was some type of gang initiation. And then you had as far as a conspiracy. Oh, it seemed like they probably knew him. That's what this had to do. This was like a revenge plot. This had to do with black on black crime. I kid you not. The same as far as loony bin conspiracies that they had with the Ahmaud.
So they want to take it away from being a police versus the people issue and turned it into black on black crime issue. Crazy.
Arbery that they had with Breonna Taylor, they had with George Floyd, they've had with every single black victim. They come out with their freaking loony bin conspiracy theories, bruh. And they very much try to separate law enforcement from these black officers. They try to make it a black thing. This had nothing to do with law enforcement. This was a black thing. This had to do with black on black crime. And it was absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And then you had, people were trying to say, oh, were they FBA? Were these people FBA or were they immigrants? Just absolute nonsense, okay? All of this was nonsense. Every single person that I heard, as far as the response, especially from the right, was nonsense. It was anti-black propaganda. It was absolute anti-black racism at its finest. At its finest. Because I want people to understand. You really need to understand this very simple concept. And that is simply, okay, that really the white Republicans and the white liberals, all right, they are the same exact thing. All of our black leaders have told us such, and this is exactly what we're talking about. Because don't miss me with this nonsense when it comes to the George Floyd Policing Act. They very much could have gotten that done. Very much. And we have nothing to show. This could have stopped ages ago. And when it comes to the right, all right,
I got to bring in something on that because they passed the anti-Asian hate crime bill. They created an anti-Semitic task force. But what have they done for us? Another one is there's always a new story. There's always a new story. And something I want to throw in too is look at how the boy got shot in Ohio. 13-year-old boy got shot in Ohio by a full-grown white man. The white dude is not in jail yet. No charges brought up to him yet. Think about the police officers who have done things who haven't got charged. I mean, notice this is a big. Listen, if they jump the dude, the video's out. They should be prosecuted for it. They should have to feel justice. Justice should be served in this incident. But I want to know, why is this the biggest thing on the media when it's 5 black officers? Where is the justice from when the white officers have done it? When the white officers beat us up, kill people, where is the justice in those situations? Why do some of those stories get swept up under the rug, but this story get all the light? I agree. I'm happy that these guys are going to get charged. They made a huge mistake, but so have many others. So this persecution or this them being prosecuted should be equally given out through all the people who've been doing evil and injustice towards the people. Let's keep going.
What they have done is train white people, these individuals, the vocal minority, or the vocal majority, if you will, they do not care about white people. White people, I'm going to say this, white people do not care about white people if it means getting an edge, okay, on black people. Let me explain to you, all right? Tony Timpa, does that ring a bell? Jared Lackey, does that ring a bell? Daniel Schaefer, does that ring a bell? Okay, Ryan Whitaker, Hunter Britton. These are all white people, okay, white victims of police brutality. I think everyone, the most famous out of all of them would be as far as Daniel Schaefer. We have that on video, what they did to that poor dude. We have it on video. Was there any, as far as call to end qualified immunity? No, not at all. Was there any call to say, hey, we need some type of police reform? No, not at all. Was there any protest, rioting, anything? Nothing. That goes to show you that white people, okay, the vocal majority of white people do not care about their own. They don't care. When it comes to the right, when they think of a criminal, they don't think of white. They think of black. That's why they take as far as refuge in police because they say, hey, they're protecting us from the big bad black boogeyman. That's what Fox News, that's what Newsmax, that's what many of these racist, anti-black platforms have programmed them to believe. And many of them already have underlying, anti-black sentiments as is. So it's very easy to accept this belief, despite everything that's going on in front of them.
Okay.
In police brutality, they could end it within the week. They can end it literally today, okay? If white Republicans and white liberals wanted to stop police brutality, they could end it. What happened to this man, Tyre Nichols, did not have to happen. It did not have to happen, and it doesn't have to happen to anyone else moving forward. But the thing is, they want this to happen. This is all a part of their plan. This is the whole point of the system. Okay, you can say whatever you want, but what you can't do is refute the facts. And the facts are that we have had a litany as far as non-black victims of police brutality, and they have done not a damn thing. So you have to explain to me, why have you failed to protect white people? Why have white people given no thought, no mind, no care about other white people who have been blatant victims of police brutality? But you want to know when they do care? When we speak up about Breonna Taylor. You want to know when they do care? When we speak up about George Floyd. You want to know when they do care? When we speak about Tyre Nichols. You want to know when they do care? When we speak about as far as the plethora of black victims.
See, but this is part of the wickedness of the system. Sacrifice. It's sacrifice. They don't mind if they have to sacrifice a few of their own, because the mass majority of injustice, excuse me, the mass majority of injustice is painted towards our people. So if they got to sacrifice a couple people of their own, it doesn't matter to them. I mean, people remember the World Trade Center, right? People were sacrificed in the World Trade Center. Whether you believe we had our country has something to do with it or not, I do, based upon some of the fire people, based upon a lot of evidence. I believe that our country has something to do with the Twin Towers falling. But they sacrificed certain people, blamed it on another people, and used that to perpetuate more war and death. So this is what they do. They'll sacrifice a couple people to bring more people into the fold of war and death. They just want people to die, to kill, steal, and destroy. That is Satan. That's what Satan wants.
That have died unnecessarily at the hands of law enforcement, okay? At the hands of law enforcement. That's when these saltines come out and have an issue. That's when these bootlickers.
He called him a saltine. That's horrible.
These saltines come out and start talking about, oh, you just need to comply. When we have nothing but footage of people complying and still being brutalized by the state. Mm-hmm. And this breaks, to break it down for you, okay? For all black people out there, put your phones down, okay? It's come down to that time where you need to stop trying to get, if you are willing.
Now, I don't 100% agree with where you're going right here. You can watch the rest of this video. But I'd like, if you are on the outside, if you're on the outside and you're watching somebody get brutalized, if he's speaking from that, if you're the one getting brutalized and you got your phone up just to videotape you get brutalized for evidence, that's a whole nother thing. Is one person fighting, and they always call a whole groups of cops. So there's nothing you could do. The more you struggle, you may end up causing your own death. But if you happen to be on the sidelines while somebody's getting brutalized by the police and there's groups of you, and y'all got your phones out trying to videotape everything, I agree with them. Then put your phones down. Get out there. Make sure that they have to stop. Even if you get arrested for I can't think of the actual call, but stopping a police investigation or interfering with a police investigation. get that and then go to court. Then at least you could go in front of the judge and say, this guy was getting brutalized and I was just trying to stop him from being brutalized. They didn't have to do that to arrest him. But don't sit there and videotape. If he's talking about those particulars, I get it. But if you're talking about the actual victims, there's nothing you could do. Hold your phone and that's it, right? Now we're gonna get into this next video. Let's read it. It said it's Whoopi Goldberg triggers white ignorance, white ignorance with police brutality comment. So this is, once again, we're starting to see it get packed on with full of hatred towards us. So let's get into this video and see how you break it down.
White Republicans can't be this dumb. Oh my goodness. So there is outrage happening over comments that Whoopi Goldberg said on The View. Now, I went to check it out to hear what she actually said, and what she was basically talking about is say, hey, how do we stop this police brutality that is occurring widespread, right? What do we do? Is it, do we need to have, white people get beat up in order for it to happen? And she goes on to say, hey, I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying, how do we get people involved?
When will the brutality finally lead to some police reform? Don't seem to make sense to people unless it's somebody they can feel or they can recognize. But how many times do we need to see white people also get beaten before anybody will do anything? I'm not suggesting that, so don't write us.
Now, the funny part is, she said, okay, honestly, verbatim in some cases, what I said before when I was naive, okay, when I was a little gullible, right? Because I was thinking, yo, Daniel Schaefer, Ryan Whitaker, these Jared Lackey, these are people who have been victims of police brutality. They've lost their lives due to police brutality. I'm like, do white people not know about this? Do they not care? And then as time went on, and more cases come out, right? Hunter Britton. Okay, we get, starting off, we can go way back to Kelly Thomas, right? And the more cases that came out, I started to realize, oh, they don't care. And then that was confusing me. I was like, why don't you care about your own being victims of the state? Then when it came to our people, to black people being victims, George Floyd or Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, that's when they immediately start to care. That's when they start to get outraged. Why are you guys always a victim? Why not just comply? Why not this? Why not that? And that's when got it. They're willing to sacrifice their own just so they complain and whine and moan and gripe about us having an issue with the brutality. They're willing, and this is really sick. This is really demonic. Okay, once again, this goes back to a lineage of evil. They are willing to sacrifice.
You see, that goes back to a lineage of evil. The people who are willing to do this don't know. Some of them do know. They know what they worship. Some don't even know. Satan's just manipulating them. We all are in the battle. And some of them don't even know. But they being manipulated to the point that we don't care. They don't care if something happened to their own, as long as they have a reason to get on us when it happens to us, because it happens disproportionately to us. Let's keep going.
Sacrifice their own as long as we are still being brutalized. The moment in time we're not being brutalized, and it's specifically them and exclusively them, then they'll fix it, right? But as long as we are victims of the state, they don't have a problem. They'll sacrifice Daniel Schaefer, okay? They'll sacrifice Hunter Britton. They'll sacrifice Kelly Thomas. They'll sacrifice anyone and everyone just to get at us. And I'm like, my goodness, how racist can you be? This is like some crazy anti-black racism. And then it gets better. I kid you not, it gets better. They're so frothed with hatred, anti-black hatred, and are dumb at that I want you to understand that you had people coming out calling Whoopi Goldberg a racist. I'm like, a racist? How does anything she say racist? What? then you had people, this is my favorite, you had people posting videos of white people being victims of police brutality. And when I mean victims of police brutality, like, I mean, it was like very, very tepid stuff. Very, very tepid stuff. Compared to what's going on with black people, their stuff was like, there was one video where a guy, like a dog was biting them. The officers weren't punching him, right? The officers weren't attacking him. The dog was biting him, and they were trying to get the dog off of him, right? You had Jack Pacific post that, talking about, oh, is this white supremacy? And then you had other people post this one video where this guy popped in his mouth when he was complying with the barrel of a gun. And I'm thinking to myself, are you guys like really like slow? Are you guys actually brain dead? Like, your anti-black racism is blinding you to the point that you don't even get the irony of you posting this. First off, what do all the white ignorants say? Comply. If you just complied, none of this would have happened. They posted a video of a man complying, right? Of a man complying, and they still assaulted him. And you want to know what's even crazier? Guess what? The officers weren't charged. They weren't charged for excessive force. And I'm like, yo, your anti-black hatred is so palpable that it's blinding you from the irony that's right in front of you. The whole comply narrative goes out the window via the video you used of a white person being a victim of police brutality. And I'm just like, what do you think this is proving? Huh? What do you think this is proving? The other video of the dog, right? And I'm thinking to myself, of all the videos that could, as far as co-sign their fragility of them being assaulted by the police, they choose the weakest, most fragile, most insignificant, poor representation of police brutality towards white people that you can imagine, right? I want you to think about this. This is like someone asking you, hey, you're a black American, give me something that's really horrible that happened to you, right? In your history. And you tell them, yeah, you know what? I went to McDonald's drive-thru and they gave me the wrong order, right? And you're just like, wait, what? Wait, you're gonna skip over like slavery? You're gonna skip over Jim Crow? You're gonna skip over lynchings? And tell them about you getting a wrong order at McDonald's? Bruh, these people, they're dumb. These white ignorants are dumb. They're not only dumb and racist, right? How? Like, white supremacy? This is white inferiority complex. This is wild. This is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm expecting them to post like a Daniel Schaefer, right? I'm expecting them to post like a Ryan Whitaker, dude that got popped in his back while complying. I'm expecting them to post a Jared Lackey. I'm expecting there's so many incidents that are well known, and then give us this person get hit in the mouth with the barrel of a gun. They give us another person of a dog biting somebody. And I'm just like, it's crazy. The anti-black hatred has blinded these white ignorants so much that they don't even see, I don't even think they see clearly. And this is what it boils down to. They want to be, it's like, I don't know, the victim Olympics or the police brutality Olympics. Listen, white people, okay? This isn't a competition as to who gets brutalized more, right? This isn't a competition, right? We're not trying to win this, okay? This is, out of all the races, this is not one black people want to win, okay? I don't think you guys understand this. It's so antagonistic with them, I've noticed. When it comes to the right, they're so antagonistic when it comes to these white ignorants. They always think it's like, well, it happens to us too. Well, it happens to us too. And it's like, that's not the point, okay? The point isn't that it happens to you too. The point is it shouldn't happen to anyone, right? Black Lives Matter, once again, they had all these white victims, didn't say a word. No qualified immunity, and we all know that if white people, right, the dominant society wanted to end police brutality, they could. They don't want to because they get off and try playing this game to them, right?
Look, man, I can agree with that. I do think they get off on this whole thing. Think about this. When Trayvon Martin got shot and George Zimmerman sold that gun for over $1 million that he killed the 14-year-old boy with. I mean, think about that. Somebody bought it for over. We know the gun wasn't worth $1 million, but because it caused death to a little black boy, a little black kid, a young black man, or a young black kid, right? A preteen or a teen, but a pre-man, right? A young man, right? Young adult. They like, well, we'll take it for $1 million because you shot him. Remember how they cheered the other guy who did the shooting with the machine gun? I can't think of his name, but the crier, he was crying in court, and he shot all them people with the AR, Rittenhouse, and they cheered him. They celebrated him being free. They love this wickedness and this violence. And that's why we hopping right into the Bible, right? And it says right here, this is 1 John 3, and we're going to start at 13. It says, marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. We know that we have passed from death unto life. It says, marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. Don't marvel because of this, right? We know that we have passed from death unto life because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. And ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. Hereby perceive we love God, because he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brethren. Right? It says, whoso hath this world's good, and sees his brother in need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him? My little children, let us not love the world, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. See, so love is not just something you use with your tongue, but love is something that is shown through deed and in truth. And we're seeing now through these people, they hate us, right? And hereby we know that we are of the truth, and shall assure our hearts before him. For if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart, and knoweth all things. Beloved, if our heart condemn us not, then we have confidence towards God, right? And whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we kept his commandment and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. But this is one of the big ones. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. Don't marvel. This is not nothing new. All right? And a lot of these people won't make it to see the end kingdom. They won't make it. What did it say? It say, it says, whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. You see, so don't worry too much about the hatred you're getting, because these people won't receive a gift. This is their reward. They're living, them watching one of us die on the news and celebrating it and different things like that. This is the best they gonna get. This is the best they can ask, right? Ask for in their minds, right? Now this is we're gonna start right here, and this is John 15, and we're gonna start at 18. It say, if the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you, right? So if the world hates you, know it hated Christ before it ever hated you. And if you were of the world would love his own, right? We don't belong to this current kingdom. So the world hates us. But because ye are not of the world, because we were prepared for the kingdom to come, right? Because I have chosen you out of the world. Therefore the world hateth you. So don't let this hate bring us down or fret over it, because no, it hated us. It hated Christ first. And it hated us because our turn is not its turn. The kingdom we will receive is not for the people who hate us. You understand? It says, remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hateth me hateth my Father also. And if I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this cometh to pass, that the world might be fulfilled that is written in the law. They hated me without a cause. Right? So it's important to know that Christ was hated. It's important to know that, right? Now this is important right here. We're gonna go to Matthew 5:43. Peep this. It says, "Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, the hostile, the people who are hostile against you. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh the sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sendeth rain on the just and the unjust. For if ye love them which love ye, what reward do you have? Right? What reward have ye? Right? Do not even the publicans the same? And if ye salute your brother only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." And this is important because it's saying this. If we start behaving like white people or Jewish people or any other people who might have hatred towards us, and we start behaving the way that they act, what makes us better than them? What separates us? Is it just the blood now that separates us? Because the Bible says that he could bring up stones to replace Israel. Right? So is it just the blood, right? Or is it the spirit we had? Right? Because we did not have this evil, violent spirit. The Bible says that Jacob and Esau was born. Esau would be 100. Because one was stronger than the other. They was fighting in the womb, and the oldest shall serve the youngest. But it said Esau would get everything he got. He would get everything he got by the sword. Through war, through destruction, through death. So if we try to become like them and push that same hatred that they have, then we're no longer following the Father's will and being the people he dedicated us to. It's one thing to defend oneself. It's another to just hate all people because other people hate you. Because not all of them hate us. Not every white person hates us. Not every Jewish person hates us. There is sections of them that hate us. There are sections of black people that hate each other. But that don't mean that we should be pushing the same hatred on them that they push on us. How are we better than them? We're just like them then, right? Now check this out. This is 1 Peter 4, and we're going to start at 12. It says, "Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you," right? A burning, hence refining, right? "As though some strange thing happened unto you." So this is not a strange thing. This was all meant to happen. "But rejoice, inasmuch as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. If ye be reproached for the name of Christ, happy are ye, for the Spirit of glory and of God resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, as a thief, or as an evildoer, as a busybody in other men's matters, right? So it's saying don't go out and be killing and doing anything and then you suffer because of this and then you say you suffering because of Christ. That's not what it is. The innocent people, the one who are just getting punished because of what they look like. And Christians will say, they'll read that you'll be hated because of many nations, which means nationality. Somehow they consider Christianity a nationality, which is weird. It's almost like Judaism being a nationality. But anyways, they'll say Christian, that's speaking of the Christian people. But where's the persecution of the Christians at? Christian is the number one religion on the planet. Where are the persecutions of the Christians at? Where are the people killed for being Christians? If I remember from history, the Christians were killing all the other people for what they believed. It wasn't the opposite way around. So that's not speaking of Christians. It's speaking of us being God's people and what we're watching with all of the people who getting killed left and right. We're watching the hatred that the world has of Christ being poured out on us. Now this is what it says. We're going to go into John 16, right? And we're going to go to John 16 and 31. It says, Yeshua answered, or Jesus answered, do ye now believe? Behold, the hour cometh, yea, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, right? Every man to his own, and ye shall leave me alone, right? And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace, right? So that our peace would come from Christ and knowing what he came to show us about the future, about the truth, and about the world to come. It says, in the world ye shall have tribulations, right? But be ye of good cheer. I have overcome the world, right? He was the first of the resurrected, which will happen to many who follow Christ after him. Now, this is a longer video than I thought, but I appreciate y'all for tuning in and watching it with me. Thawada, which means thank you. Shalom, peaceful greetings. Kala Haya by Shemishaya, all praises to Ahaya in the name of Yeshaya, right? All praises to Ahaya in the name of his son, our Savior, Yeshaya. And on that note, I just want to tell y'all, hit the like button. Whether you like the video or not, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hop in the comments. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the hatred. If you've experienced hatred, if you've experienced certain things, drop it in the chat. Let's discuss it. Let's discuss it. Let's get the hatred out of ourselves and just get rid of, and let's discuss the hatred that's being put on us through other people. All right. So with that note, I just want to say peace. I thank y'all for tuning in. Kaula Haya by Shemishaya. Shalom, shalom, everybody. And to the next one. Peace.